Greetings and welcome to another episode of the show. In today's chapter, we'll be talking about the 10 best Gothic games to play, or at least games on console right now that you can pick up immediately, if not in the very, very near future.
Yeah, coming up soon.
Yeah, coming up soon. Some of them are coming up soon. Most of these are already out. You can start playing as soon as you're done watching this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as always, let's just go ahead and just jump right in.
All right. You want to go first or should I?
I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. The very first game, and I really want to be very sincere when I say this. The very first game is called Darkwood. It's on PS4 and PS5 and on Xbox, I believe. I'll have to check that. But this game is absolutely wild. It's a top-down, and it's survival horror. So if you guys are, anybody's into going out, exploration, super dark, stuff like that, gonna go find wood, chop it up, go make a fire, and this, it's all done top-down. So very much Legend of Zelda, but it is one of the scariest games that you can play and has a crap ton of Gothic themes in it.
Really?
A crap ton of Gothic themes. Like, there's this weird little demon coming at you in the trailer. Watch the trailer, somebody, or we'll just play something on the side, somewhere around here. But it's like crawling at the player, and the player shoots the like little demon thing, and explodes into like 7 like oversized crows, and they're like crawling their like the demon explodes into crows. But you never see the transformation. It's like the crows were the demon all along, and they just scatter and come at you all at the same time. It's like really, really freaking scary, and you guys have to pick up Darkwood. How much is Darkwood going for right now? I know that it's generally pretty cheap, like $15. But you can pick it up on the PlayStation Store, Xbox Live, anything like that.
Okay. Sounds cool.
What you got for us?
Normally, I'm not much of a top-down style gamer. I'm more of a first-person or third-person, but that definitely sounds interesting.
It's most definitely one of the more unique titles that I've ever experienced as far as like horror comes. And then, of course, when it comes to survival, it's definitely the most unique that I've ever played. I've actually got another survival game coming up, but we'll get there. Okay,
yeah, we've still got plenty to cover.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first offering here is actually one that's not out yet, but it's going to be coming out later here in 2024. This is going to be called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but trust me, I was looking at the trailer for this game, and this thing looks pretty cool. The basic storyline aspect is you play the role of an elder vampire in 21st century Seattle, and you have to choose between different vampire clans to belong to, which will determine your abilities, and essentially you're trying to gain power for yourself while trying to keep your lifestyle hidden from the mortals, the commoners, as they say. And just when I was looking up at the trailer of this thing, it looks like this is going to be pretty cool.
So, if I'm not mistaken, right, this is the sequel. Is it a direct sequel, do you know, to Bloodlines 1? Or is it like...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It says here it is a sequel to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 1 that came out in 2004.
Right. Tell us a little bit about Bloodlines 2. What's the gameplay like?
Unfortunately, it's just a trailer at the moment. I don't see any actual gameplay. This is just, again, we'll be playing this now, the next-gen trailer from inside Xbox. And it's going to be available on PC, PlayStation 5. I almost said Windows 5. It's going to be available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox.
Okay, and so if there are some of you, like the Baby Bats, who might not have experienced that time of gaming, right? 2004, big PS2 era. Bloodlines 1 was released alongside Half-Life 2. So obviously Bloodlines 1 did horribly in the market. But if you look it up, this is one of the greatest RPGs ever created for video games. Like this, like it has one of the most in-depth RPG aspects of any RPG game. So look up Bloodlines to get yourself excited for Bloodlines 2.
Huh. I actually didn't know about that. I didn't know. I just was, scoping out things for our show today, and I did not know that this had such a rich history to pull from.
Yeah. It's definitely really interesting. It's funny that you mentioned vampires as the number 2 game, because number 3 is a game called V Rising, and it is also about vampires.
You don't say.
Right. V Rising is a 2024 action role-playing survival game, and it was developed by Stunlock Studios, published by Level Infinite. It was first released in early access for Windows in May 22, before officially releasing 2 years later, this year, with a PS5 version under development. Within a week, it has surpassed 1 million sales.
Wow.
I can attest to that. I can literally attest to that because I just bought the game for $40.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so fun. It like I cannot. First and foremost, because this is a show about Gothic gaming,
right?
Or this episode is. Let me just explain to you the Gothic aspects of it. Okay,
right. What makes this game qualified to be mentioned on our show?
You are a vampire. You fight very, very Lovecraftian things. There's werewolves. There's witches. There's Dracula. Dracula is the ultimate enemy. And believe it or not, this game is kind of like a soft spin-off of Castlevania.
Okay.
So if anybody's like into Castlevania, you've seen the Netflix show, you play the games, then this is part of that world, right? Now, survival. This game is so damn addicting. If you've played Ark Survival Evolved, if you've played Conan Exiles,
which I know have been 2 of your big plays in the previous year.
Yes, huge into those games. This one is very, 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 very much so like those 2. Very survival. I wouldn't call it horror. It's just mostly survival, build, craft, go out and hunt, beat the bosses, go into the next acts. It's just very, very fun. It is top down, believe it or not. So you get that bird's eye view, and you can't change that. So that's an interesting aspect, except unlike Darkwood, it's not pixelized. So it's all 3D animated figures.
Right.
Really, really cool. You get to create your own vampire and everything, and they've got just an awesome progression system. It is very, very sick. No wonder it passed. Like, that was my first time like reading about the sales since I bought it. I bought it 2 days ago. That was my very first time reading the sales about it. So over 1 million copies in 1 week. That is a fever dream.
Good to know you bought a good one.
Yeah. I mean, the game, like, the reason why I bought it, if you're one of those people, like, I'm one of those people. If I see 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, just across the board, I'm going to buy it. It doesn't matter what it is. Look, I'm not a big Baldur's Gate fan. Don't kill me, internet. I'm not a big Baldur's Gate fan. Don't unalive me. Sorry.
Right, of course.
But the game got 10 out of 10 across the board. I had to buy it. I bought it for $70. I still haven't played much of it. I know that there are some people who have like over 4,000 hours.
I've seen people sink hundreds upon hundreds of hours into that game.
And it's just, I can't get into it, but I own one of the best games on the marketplace right now. So.
Right. You'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah. What's number 4 on our list?
Well, my next offering is, of course, when you mentioned Gothic themes in video games, I had to go to one of my classic favorites. It is the Batman Arkham series. Ooh. You don't know this because we haven't brought this up on this show yet. I am a huge fan of the Batman Arkham games and the atmosphere that they create. Multiple Game of the Years in the series, and it's
3 games in a row.
3 out of 4 technically. Yeah. There is Origins in there, which is a fun game.
3 out of 5 technically if you count Suicide Squad.
No. Anyway, or I guess technically you could even say 6 because if you think Gotham Knights. Anyway,
right.
Anyway, it does a wonderful job of creating the atmosphere of Arkham Asylum, this dreary prison that's just decrepit and it's depressing and it's just not a fun place to be, which fits perfectly with our themes. But
Right.
it's just, again, the atmosphere it creates. Of course, again, it has the all the famous voice actors from the Batman animated series.
Right.
So this thing is just, again, won multiple games of the year, 10 out of 10 across. Well, not 10 out of 10, but
It should be. In my opinion, I'm a big Batman fan.
Yes, it's done very well for itself, and the results speak for themselves.
And who is developer?
I believe that was Rocksteady.
Yeah, Rocksteady.
Before I say with any definite,
I will say it with definite. It's Rocksteady.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Rocksteady Studios, Warner Brothers, Montreal.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Little does everybody know that these Batman Arkham series games are some of the best superhero games that you can play. And if you like Gothic stuff, you already know we're talking about the color black, right?
Yes.
And who wears black better than Batman? Batman. Or, you know, and you guys will be totally confused because you're going to start playing the Arkham series and you're going to realize Batman sounds nothing like that.
Right.
You know, the gameplay wise, these Batman games, I mean, you would say they're some of the best.
Even though for the first Arkham Asylum game came out in, let me double check that before
2012.
I say something.
No, 2008. 2008.
Yeah.
2008. Yep.
No, excuse me, 2009.
2009. Yeah.
Arkham Asylum was 2009.
Yeah.
But yeah, even still, the gameplay of that holds up tremendously to this day. You know, the combat's fun. The use of gadgets is fun. It's very intuitive. You can pick it up and play it and
Riddler
get along
challenges.
fine. Or you could dive into how all the combos work and really become Batman and just empty a room of bad guys in very quick succession.
Yeah, I'd say if you're looking for a gothic game, like a lot of dark themes, a lot of that, but you're also looking for superheroes, Arkham series.
Yep.
And that
cannot recommend it more.
Oh yeah, like let's put it this way, and this is just a little personal thing. I bought Suicide Squad 3 days before it released because I'm such a big Arkham series fan. Only to get Suicide Squad. Anyway, Rocksteady, you can do better. Number 5 on our list is, go figure, it's Bloodborne. So Bloodborne,
can't mess with a classic.
Yeah. 2015 action role-playing game developed by From Software. You guys already, if you're a gamer, you already know From Software. We're talking Souls games, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. We're talking Elden Ring. We're talking Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, like
all those nightmare boss level games that make you want to rethink your life.
And one of the greatest parts about this is that it is published, and some people might come at me. The internet's going to hate me because of how big a fanboy I am. But it is published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation 4. It is an exclusive, so you need a PlayStation 4 or 5 to play this game. Bloodborne follows the player's character, a hunter, through the decrepit Gothic Victorian era-inspired city of Yharnam, whose inhabitants are afflicted with a bloodborne disease which transforms the residents, called Yharnamites, into horrific beasts.
Call it Bloodborne.
Yes. Attempting to find the source of the plague, the player's character unravels the city's mysteries while fighting beasts and cosmic beings. Now, there is no better Lovecraftian game that I can recommend to any of my Gothic viewers who might be gamers as well. There is no better game, and actually we're on number 5. We got 5 games better. but honestly, this reigns as king of all Gothic games, even in my opinion, even though I've got games that are above this list. If you like a challenge, if you like to get pissed off, if you're a masochist, play this.
If you are into rage quitting,
right, play this game. I've gone so far in Bloodborne with my fiance, and I feel like we've barely even scratched the surface. That's a true story. We have sunk hours into this game, gotten great equipment, great weapons. What feels like the end of the game, not even scratching the surface. Oh my god. If you want to get into that, because it is awesome. And that's all I gotta say. What's number 6?
Next, number 6 for me, another classic, is American McGee's Atlas. In this case, it's the sequel, Madness Returns, which is the sequel to the original American McGee's Atlas from 2000. This is the 2011 version that was made for console and PC, and it's the return of Alice to Wonderland. I won't get too much into the story because that's a big part of the game, obviously. And it's just basically Alice trying to get her mind back after going to an insane asylum and traveling through Wonderland as she imagines her way through it and trying to get back to some semblance of normalcy and figure out what's going on in her world.
That game is seriously dark.
Yeah, especially once you get into the what the actual story is, it gets pretty pretty twisted.
Yeah, pretty twisted, pretty dark, pretty quick. And it really doesn't take long at all. It's not like Alice in Wonderland, where one moment she's living regular life, next moment she's,
face to face with some bug monster.
Right. I mean, shoot, that's a great game. And I played that a long time ago. You can still play. What can you play this on?
That one is actually still on PS4, so not technically the most modern console for PS5, but it is available on PS4 and Xbox.
Right, and if you can get it on PS4, you can get it on PS5. So,
might have to correct you there. Apparently, from my research earlier today, it only is on PS4. There is no PS5.
No, they didn't port it. That's crazy.
At least not yet. Anyway, as far as the research I did today, it's just PS4 for now.
Guys, you need a PlayStation 4 system to play this game, but you know what? It's completely worth it.
It is an absolute classic.
I need you to sell your PS5, buy a PS4.
Don't do that.
Use the remaining cash to buy Alice.
For legal reasons, we here do not recommend you sell your PS5 to buy PS4 and play Alice Madness Returns. For legal reasons, we do not recommend that.
Don't do that. That was number 6, right?
Yes.
Number 7. Okay. This is going to be a 5-minute thing. Alan Wake 2 is number 7 on our list. And so Alan Wake 2 is a 2023 survival horror video game developed by Remedy Entertainment and published by Epic Games Publishing. It's the sequel to Alan Wake 2010. The story follows best-selling novelist Alan Wake, who has been trapped in an alternate dimension for 13 years as he attempts to escape by writing a horror story involving an FBI special agent named Saga Anderson. Alan Wake 2 was released on PS5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S on the 27th of October, 2023, and the game received positive reviews from critics and was nominated for multiple Game of the Year awards. It sold over 1.3 million units by February 2024, making it Remedy's fastest-selling game. Let me begin. Alan Wake is not only one of the greatest franchises I've ever had the honor and the blessing, and just it feels like such a gift to be able to experience. But it is also one of the most unique experiences anybody will ever see in a video game, period. So, Will, how much do you know about Alan Wake?
I've heard good things about it, but I don't think I've ever actually looked up any type of gameplay or anything surrounding it. I've just heard people say this Alan Wake game is really good.
Very good. Okay, so
enlighten me.
Yeah, you know the MCU, how there's a Marvel shared universe, right? Everything's Remedy, the developers, have a thing called the Remedy shared universe.
Okay.
So there's a game called Control, right?
Okay.
Control, some of you might remember, some of you might not. It's about a character, Jesse Faden, who has red hair and can float and do crazy shit, right? It is directly correlated with Alan Wake and the entire franchise. Both of them share a coinciding story that, I mean, it is absolutely one of the craziest things. It is multiversal, and it's a new take on the multiverse. It's not branching off like the MCU. It's not a big twist of spaghetti like DC. It is legitimately a new type of multiverse, and I would never ever spoil that, or like what kind of multiverse it is right here. You would have to play that game yourself.
Save it for the playthrough.
Yeah. And with that being said, Alan Wake 2 also features Sam Lake, which is the creative director, and he's like a bunch of other things, as one of the main characters. Not only that, is Sam Lake plays himself in one of the DLCs. Not only that, is Sam Lake was a nominated BAFTA actor. Like in another thing, like literally this whole thing is riddled with talent, riddled with expertise, riddled with creativeness, and Remedy Entertainment is one of the most underrated AAA studios around today. And if you're looking for super gothic themes, right, play Alan Wake 2, because what's more gothic than a writer that has to escape a place called the Dark Place, that has to defeat shadow people. You know what I mean? Like it's so right. It's so good. It's so good. I just beat the entire Alan Wake 2, the story, and then the DLC that just came out. Waiting for the last DLC called Lake House.
Okay.
If you're a baby bat, or if you're even an elder goth, or anybody in between, I'm sure if you're a gamer, you've heard about Alan Wake. It's just badass. Give it a shot. Play Alan Wake 1. Get into Control, play Alan Wake 2, and experience something you have never experienced in gaming at all. That's it. That's my tangent on Alan Wake. So what's next? what's our next entry?
Quite the rundown there.
Yeah. This game, I cannot speak higher. If I was to give it a score, it's 10 out of 10. Honest to God.
I'll take you at your word then, because that's pretty high praise.
Yeah. What do we got as number 9?
This is the 8.
8.
My next offering is called The Lies of P.
Ooh.
And apparently this is a game that is based off of the story of Pinocchio.
Yes.
I just looked, again, I'm not super familiar with this game. I just looked it up for our episode today. Apparently it's essentially it's a Gothic, almost Dark Souls style game in the style of, the story of Pinocchio, where again, the main character, Pinocchio, is trying to save his father and become a real boy because he was made as a puppet.
Right.
Again, like I said, the style of gameplay is very based on Dark Souls and all those other style of games. So I'm not going to be playing it because I don't feel like torturing myself.
I will say this much: if you like big spectacle boss fights, Lies of P.
Right. That's one thing. Also, see, like looking from this trailer, this game looks visually very impressive.
Oh, it's like from what I've seen, like it's on my wish list. I'm just waiting to fund that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm just waiting to play Lies of P. The only thing I don't appreciate about Lies of P, and this doesn't take away from it being number 8 on our list,
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from being so high on our list, but the fact that it's not co-op like Bloodborne is kind of takes away from, wanting to share the torture with your friends.
Right, yeah.
And just kind of tosses you into the mix all by yourself. So that's one thing I'd say I would change if I could.
And also, again, just for the sake of saying how you can play this, it's available for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Oh, you can play it on everything? Yes.
Oh, I didn't know they had a PC version.
Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. But definitely get into Lies of P if you're again, if it's between Bloodborne and Lies of P. Bloodborne obviously reigns king, but Liza P is newer. Let me put it that way. You know, we're literally talking almost a decade worth of time from Bloodborne and Liza P. So check out Liza P. Definitely. Just to stay on Liza P for a second, just so we can cover all of our bases.
Sure.
If you look at the not just the graphics, but I'm talking like the themes, the aesthetics. I mean, this is some of the best outfits, best machines, best enemies that I've seen in a lot, like any game recently. You know,
like I said, very visually impressive.
Yeah. Well, my number 9 is my last game, of course, and it ranks really high for me, and it ranks over Alan Wake, and it ranks over Bloodborne. Number 9 is Medieval for PS4.
Okay.
Now, Medieval is a 2019 action-adventure game developed by Other Ocean Emeryville and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment for the PlayStation 4. The player controls the protagonist, Sir Daniel Fortescue, through a series of levels using various weapons to fight enemies as well as encountering various non-playable characters. And it is a remake of Medieval, which was originally developed by a British video game developer, SCE Cambridge Studio, and released for the PlayStation in 1998. Okay, let me tell you something about Medieval. It encompasses every single bit of Gothic, like anything that could be attractive to people who are into Gothic themes. You've got demons, you've got vampires, you've got zombies, you've got ghosts, you've got dragons, you've got walking skeleton armies, you've got dead pirates who float in a pirate ship in the sky, you've got giant eagles, the list goes on, you know. You've got mausoleums, you've got graveyards, you've got pumpkin kings, you've got scarecrows in a field that has a bunch of farmers who are killing everybody, you know? Like, you've got a town possessed. This is, and again, Bloodborne is just so damn good when it comes to Gothic games. But to be top of the list for us, you have to hit all Gothic themes. It has to be an all-encompassing Gothic game. And to me personally, Medieval has done probably the greatest quality of any Gothic game, even if it's an old game, even if it's a remake, even if it's pretty simple and straightforward action adventure, right? We get all of the pieces that we're looking for Gothically. And that's it, really. Like, get into Medieval if you haven't played it since 1997. So, you know, like,
really, for a game that came out in '97, it's still available to this day.
Well,
remakes of.
Yeah, it was remade in 2019 for the PS4.
Okay.
And it is absolutely awesome. And the game's actually dedicated to Zarok, the main bad guy. His voice actor, Paul Darrow. He died on June 3rd, 2019. So, yeah, and the game released not long after. It released on October 25th. So, I mean, like, this is one of the greatest Gothic titles that you can get into. What's our final and 10th game?
My last game is a game called Vampire, spelled Vampyr. It's an action role-playing game where you play as a vampire in what's actually before. Let me double check what century this person is living in.
This was it's World War I, I believe.
Yes, I was going to say I believe the premise references the Great War, so I believe that would imply World War I. So the character wakes up after or during World War I, and essentially they define themselves as a vampire, and they have to survive in this world where people are hunting him, essentially.
So how much do you know about Vampire? Like, right off the bat?
Off the bat, very little. Again, This is one I just learned about from this researching this episode.
I'm actually really happy that you put this so high up on the list because I have played a considerable amount of Vampire.
Really?
Right? Yes. This game is, I mean, if you're talking Gothic themes, this is it. It's mainly always nighttime. You can literally avoid killing enemies. You do not have to fight enemies. There's some mandatory boss battles, but like most enemies, you can literally avoid them and just sway from killing innocent people. You are a doctor who ends up becoming a vampire. You're trying to find out how you became a vampire. But as far as the doctor aspect, you can literally perform surgery on people in the game. Like, you're trying to save lives. And you're a vampire.
I was about to say, which I would imagine as a vampire, you know, you're staring at someone's, you know, wounded body. Your probably first thought is food, dinner.
I'm telling you, Will, it's insane because like in the game they show him do that. You know, it shows him get that like dun, 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 as he's looking at all this blood, but he's trying to save this person's life. He's not trying to take the life. I mean, the gameplay is awesome. The fighting is fun. The drinking of blood is really fun. Vampire is a fun game.
Basically, one of the main things that another one of the reasons besides that it fits the Gothic theme so well is that this is one that is actually like, it seems like an actual action adventure game. So nothing against, you know, RPGs and top down stuff. Just for me personally as a gamer, I much prefer a game more like this. That's just the games I like to play.
I think you would actually really enjoy Vampire. I think you should.
From what I've seen of this trailer and what I've seen of the gameplay, I think I might actually pick this one up because this one does look like a cool game.
Yeah, and if you're, pun intended, if you're looking to sink your teeth into something, and just experience a story, much like Arkham, right? Then Vampire is perfect. It's a single player experience. It's not very long, and it's an action adventure. Plays much like that.
Right up my alley. And again, it is available for PS4, PC, and Xbox One.
So those are the top 10 games, guys, and I hope you play them. 10 Gothic games for our Gothically gaming community. Okay. Again, any one of these games you can pick up today, albeit except for one.
Yes, except for one that's still to come out later in 2024.
Yes. And not gonna lie, like these Vampire games seem fire as all hell. I mean, what did we talk about? We talked about
at
Vampire
least 3 of them.
Bloodlines 2. Yeah, that hasn't come out yet. That's gonna be a masterpiece. We're talking about V Rising. That already got 9 out of 10 across the board from every single reviewer. And we're talking about Vampire, one of the deepest and most quality Gothic games out there. So that's our top 10. Will, you got any parting words?
No, I'm all set.
All right. So we hope that you guys like the video. That's first and foremost, right? And ask that you like and subscribe because that really helps us out.
You can find all of our social media links in the description below, including links to our Discord, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. So with all that said, stay Gothic, YouTube.